there! Today we're going to talk about lesson 1.4, which deals with parallelograms. And for our vocabulary today, I thought I'd do some pictures because sometimes it's just a little bit easier to look at a picture, and we'll talk about those. But in your vocabulary section, you can go ahead and draw the pictures in there and write the words. But let's take a look at those. First, we're going to talk about parallel lines, and I put / segments because when we talk about something that is parallel, we have to remember that they never, ever, ever cross or intersect. And you need to know that word. Intersect means cross, okay? So here are some examples of some parallel lines. So now they can go horizontal, they can go vertical, they can go at a diagonal. They can go any direction as long as they never cross, they are parallel. And the same thing with line segments. They can go any direction as long as they don't cross, they would be parallel to one another. Now, we're going to talk about intersecting lines and segments. So this time we do want them to cross. If we're looking for something that intersects, that means that it crosses. So I have some examples here of two lines that cross, kind of forms an X. Sometimes you'll see something like this, and sometimes you'll see line segments that look like they intersect. Now they don't have to go all the way through, but if they touch at some point, that means that they are intersecting or crossing. Okay? Then we have parallel rays, and they can do the same thing that our lines did, and I even started some going opposite directions, but you can see that this is going to continue on forever and ever this direction, and this is going to continue on and on and on that direction, and they're never going to cross. They could also be going the same direction like these two, or they could go up and down or diagonal the same way that we have our lines, okay? Then we have perpendicular line segments. Now again, this is going to be a line segment, not a line, so you're going to have your two endpoints. And the neat thing about a perpendicular line segment, it's going to form a right angle. That's how you know it's perpendicular. So if you look here at my diagram, I have a right angle here. I also have one on this side. I've got a perpendicular line segment upside down. It does the same thing. So those form a right angle. That's the symbol for that. So that's how you would record that on your paper. So those are our vocabulary words. You can go ahead and pause those if you need to write them down, but make sure you get them in your notes. And we'll move on. Okay, so our tasks for this lesson. You're going to have to locate parallel lines and segments. You're going to have to construct quadrangles with certain properties, and you're going to use those properties to identify shapes. So you might be given some pictures that look similar to these, and how do I know if those are parallel? It kind of looks parallel, but I don't know for sure. So what you would have to do is you would have to extend those line segments and make sure that they don't cross. So you would take your ruler and you would line it up on your line segment and make this one go on out. And then do the same thing with this one. My line segment's not very straight. And you can see when I extend those line segments, now I can see that they are not parallel because they actually cross. Okay, same thing over here. I might have to extend this one in both directions because it's really difficult to tell. Oops. I kind of went a little crooked there. This one looks like my board is not wide enough, but if I would continue those lines, they probably would not be parallel. Okay? I don't have enough space on my board, but that's probably what's going to happen. So the next thing that you'll be doing will be constructing quadrangles with certain properties. So you might be asked to draw a quadrangle that has two right angles or something like that. So basically you'll be given a grid on your paper that will look something like this. And then you'll take your straight edge, your template or a ruler, and you'll go ahead and draw your diagram in there and make sure that it has the properties that it's asking for. And then the other thing that you'll be doing today will be using those properties to identify shapes. So you might be asked something like, are all squares rectangles, or are all rectangles squares? So there's something for you to think about tonight. Again, if you have questions, make sure you write them down on the bottom of your paper, bring your notes to class, and make sure in Google Classroom that you mark this assignment as done. See you in class.